Warning: the following broadcast contains playful antics and controversial topics causing off-the-rails fun. Chances for being offended are higher than average for sensitive people. Viewer discretion is not advised. Live a little and have some fun.
Hey, well, welcome to another episode of the Coach's Box. It's somewhere in the 180s, maybe 190s. I don't know. Chris isn't here to tell us what it is. He'll text us in a little bit, but
it's 191. It's 191.
Yeah, that's fine. I just want to get Chris all worked up wherever he's at right now. So
he's on special assignment because he knew that with the three of us, we're going to talk city soccer tonight.
You two are. I don't know about me.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about all the stuff Chris never wanted to talk about. We're talking super regional softball. We're talking MLS soccer. We'll talk Olympics. Those types of things.
You know, whatever.
Fishing. Yeah. Bass fishing.
Golf.
Yeah. Golf. We're going to talk
golf. Yep.
Golf and auto racing in the same thing. So
let's fight. Let's go.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, what do we got to start off with tonight?
Well, Jim, go ahead. Let us know.
Well,
since you graced us with your presence.
Oh, here we go. You know what? I figured it out. I've actually stayed in a hotel room over the last month more than I've actually stayed in South City, St. Louis.
Oh, my
I'm in another hotel room tonight in Jefferson City, getting ready for state track and field tomorrow. And that's kind of where I want to start with this. Let's get into some of the local high school stuff. And class 4 and 5 track will go off tomorrow. We hope. Weather is going to be a big issue, and it seems like that my debauchery from Indianapolis over the last week is following me to Jeff City. It's like full circle. Yeah. But no, it's Festus and Hillsboro in class 4, and we know how good those two track and field programs are. And last year we saw where they were. They were in the podium on both the boys and girls side. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's going to be a great meet. The one thing that everybody's looking at is, can Cardinal Ritter pull the three-peat moving up, not one, but 2 classes? Because if I'm not mistaken, Cardinal Ritter's moving up to class 5 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you talk about special programs. I mean, they've been there, they've done that. Seeing local pictures that, whether it's family or friends or whoever that's posted online or social media. I mean, it's not like it's a class 1 or class 2 school where, hey, we're going to send a couple, maybe 2 or 3 just to enjoy the festivities. No. They almost need like 2 buses. They've got a full girl squad for Festus. They've got a full boy squad. And I mean, we all know Jefferson County is all about the distance, but I think there's going to be some other events there that you might see both on the track and the field as well.
The one thing, and you talk about Festus, their distance program is just so doggone good. But you hit it on the head. I think it's going to come down to what other events where Hillsboro is going to get points. Now, Hillsboro is definitely going to get points in the sprints. They're going to get relay points. Their field events are really, really solid as well. So that's where it gets really interesting, because Hillsboro's got to counteract what that distance program for Festus has put together and try to, figure that piece of it out. But I'm telling you, it is going to be, weather down here tomorrow is not looking the best. I'm anticipating we're going to have at least a couple delays, which could throw the whole thing into a timed final on Saturday. Which, if I'm Festus in Hillsboro, I'll roll the dice on a timed final instead of my kids having to run back-to-back days, having to run the prelims on Friday and then the finals on Saturday, especially in, the sprint events and the middle distance events. But then it turns into the field events, turns into an absolute 3-ring circus because of, you could do the long jump and the triple jump rain, okay, if the runways are a little bit wet, but like the high jump, you can't. The shot and disc, absolutely not. Which, by the way, in Class 5, I'm going to flat out say this. Pay the $10 and watch the young man from Nixa throw the shot.
What, freshman, isn't he?
No, sophomore.
Sophomore, okay.
What they did at their district a few weeks ago was they moved the shot put to the middle of Nixa's football field because of this kid. And I can't, his name escapes me, and I'll look it up here in a minute. But he is on track to shatter every record that there is in the shot put. He's that good and that talented. And I mean, but those events you can't. The pole vault's another one, which is the event that drives me nuts. And I'm glad they're going to 2 pole vault pits because normally in the past they've done 1 pole vault pit. Everything else would be done. All the right events would be done. The 4x4 is done. Oh no, we're still pole vaulting. We can't do the team finals yet.
I tell you,
at least either you're not going to get a delay. It's just going to rain, and then it's going to be a miserable day for people to try to watch the track meet with everybody running in rain because Saturday's not supposed to be great either.
No, Saturday actually is going to be a way better day than tomorrow. Tomorrow's
Saturday morning is supposed to still be a little wet, but yeah.
But you can run in the rain. You can at least do things, and believe me, this will be my 12th year at the state track championships. I've seen it all. And I remember, 3 years ago when the tornado came through Jeff City, I'm getting ready to drive down to Jeff City on Thursday morning, and I get the text message at 8:30, like, don't go anyplace. We don't know what's going on. And I start looking at the reports and everything, and Atkins Stadium, which is terrific for the state track championship. I mean, I saw the pictures of Atkins, and it was just like, holy smokes. And that's when they figured out how to move 3 classes to 3 different sites, including Mizzou, and able to pull it off, which to this day, I still can't figure out how they were able to do that in a 12-hour period.
A lot of hospitality.
I mean, you had Mizzou. Oh, without a doubt. You had Mizzou. I think Blair Oaks took on one of the classes because they've got a really nice facility.
Was Capital City open yet at that point? Helias took one.
Helias took one. Yeah. Yeah, because it hit north or south of Helias, so Helias was fine. But it came right over Jeff City, City High School. But I'm telling you, this track and field championship, especially Class 4, I think is just going to be terrific this week. And Hillsboro's got a bunch of dudes and a bunch of girls. Festus, their distance program, we know what they can do. They do it on the cross country scene. Class
their
5
relays
I think
as well.
Yeah, I mean, their 4x8, their 4x4 is as good as you're going to get in the St. Louis metro area. Class 5, I think, is wide open for anybody. And it'll be interesting to see Cardinal Ritter. I had a chance to see the AAA meet a few weeks ago. And I think they held some kids out of the AAA meet, you know, but it'll be interesting to see how Ritter kind of makes that move up, and especially how Michigan did it this year with going 1, 2, and 3 last week instead of just classes 1 and 2 and moving it a week back. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out, but it's going to be a lot of fun over at Atkins Stadium this week.
Well, I'm going to throw on top of that. We've talked a lot about Festus and Hillsboro and what they probably have coming for them, or the opportunity this week. But you can add in a couple other schools. In that Crystal City boys finished 4th in Class 2. Jefferson boys finished 4th or 6th in Class 2. I think Jefferson's girls also placed.
Yeah, they were. I'm looking it up. I think they were.
They were second in Class 2.
They were second, and I think they only had maybe 5 or 6 girls.
Yeah, and St. Vincent out of Perryville finished 9th. Valley Catholic finished 10th. So Pius had 2 kids finish 5th in events, but the track and field programs in that Jefferson County, St. John Mineral area it's insane just how long they have been so really good at what they do. And it's not just the distance events either.
Right.
No, they're getting it done on the field events. Their relays are solid. Without any doubt.
I'd love to see a couple of kids in this county go at it in a decathlon.
Right.
And just pick a couple of those athletes. Just pick.
Could you imagine Hillsboro's running back, the stud running back, a QB, the brothers?
Preston and yes.
Yes. You know what? I honestly don't think that the multi-events are that far off the radar when it comes to high school. I mean, you look, and I'll say this from, the conference I work for, we had a young man from Texas Wesleyan that ended up 5th, I think, in the nation in NAIA in the multis, in the decathlon. And once again, not a lot of high school associations have the decathlon or heptathlon, but I'm telling you, I think we're going to see that in the next 4 or 5 years. Because it's growing. I mean, you look at how now. Here's the only thing: can you get kids to commit to sprint, mile, 800, and then the field events as well? That's where it kind of gets really ridiculous.
You're not going to have a whole lot of them do that, but you're going to occasionally there will be that special athlete that will do that and attempt it.
Well, and it's always, and I'm assuming college, they do that over multiple days. I don't think
2 days.
2 days that they're.
You run 5. You run.
What are you doing?
What in the absolute heck just took place?
It's Kevin's show. He's running it tonight.
I have no idea what that was. I did not do that.
It's the balloon party on 101 ESPN with Tim McKernan. There it is.
But it's over 2 days. You run 5 each day. I don't know that you would see the decathlon. You might see a pentathlon, somebody doing like 5 or 6 events in one day, that type of thing. I'm not sure can't remember what a 6-sideagon is called, but but you can use going in that route. But there's always going to be those special athletes that can pull that off, and you can think in your head a couple. Didn't we have someone that graduated from Hillsboro go to the Big Ten and compete in the decathlon for Purdue? Was Isaiah Martin?
Yes, you're right.
And
absolutely.
He was a podium finisher in the Big Ten in the decathlon 1 year.
He was actually a sprinter, if I'm not mistaken, and he ran the 800. But the one thing with the decathlon is you've got to throw the mile in there.
Yeah.
And that's where it kind of that separates the men from the boys, the girls from the women, so to say, when it comes to the decathlon and the heptathlon. But you're exactly right. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there's before we kind of put a bow on this, I my son, one of his buddies, the Dremeyer boy from Festus, he's a sophomore stud and he's going to compete in several events. And the reason why I bring this up is that going to state, this is how good the local distance runners are, is that there's this picture and either they're running the mile or the 2 mile. And it's him from Festus. You got Fuller from Farmington. You got a Hillsboro guy and you got a DeSoto guy. And they're like basically side by side, because I think they all just said to each other, hey, and I looked up the times and they were all within like hundredths of a second. Yeah. But the next, and the top 4 go to state. Well, the next one was probably 80 yards down the track. and the picture that was posted was all 4 of them in a line, and they're all smiling because they're like, hey, let's just go ahead. We're having fun here. We all know we're that good. We're going to state. So let's just kind of just go with it. And it's funny to see the kids are laughing while they're running this distance race as they finish. So, you know, it just kind of goes to show that, I mean, we have some special talent, and I know I'm curious to see where Fuller from Farmington, where he winds up going, if he's going to run, because there's some kids down there in that MAAA that if they wanted to, or college bound, just being around, you know, cross country and distance. So, yeah. And then again, you throw in Festus and Jamisha, the freshman, freshman transfer. I think she was down from Hayti and then came up and transferred last year. I'm curious to see what she does as a freshman at state. I mean, she's just been bowling over the competition all year, and it's kind of unheard of. It's really exciting for our local area as we kind of wrap up the springtime sports. But then you get into local baseball, and Festus does it again.
Festus, here we go. And I was just going to say that Festus playing in the quarterfinal. You know, they just, I mean, I was talking to my good friend Pat Burns yesterday over at the boys volleyball championship. And which, by the way, I'm going to say this, and I know Miller would never say it if he was on the show, but he's on special assignment tonight. So anyway, it was great to see the first boys volleyball championship in the state of Missouri over the last couple of days up at Maryville University. I had a chance to PA that for 2 days. And Lafayette they do what they do, and that's just beat people senseless. You know, and what about this? You talk about their boys program winning the first ever state championship? Well, that piggybacks off their girls winning a state championship back in the fall down at Show Me Center. That's really, really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, Festus is so good, and I'm telling you right now, I think they make it to Springfield. I think they're going to win it again. I think they've got the arms. They're hitting the ball like I have not seen a high school team hit the ball like they have thus far this spring. I mean, and they're getting it. They're getting it from every position, top to bottom in that batting order. Festus is doing everything you need to win another state championship.
They're going to do this entire thing they go to Webster Groves tomorrow, or Saturday. I'm sorry, Saturday. They go to Webster Groves.
Saturday.
Their tough matchup's going to be that semifinal with Kearney and Webb City. So they'll get the winner of that one. And that's going to be a tough matchup for them, because it's going to be in that stadium in Ozark. Mm-hmm. And it's basically going to be a home game for one of those, or at least Webb City.
Yeah.
If Webb City can get there. So that'll be a tough, and it could be a rematch, because who did they beat in the championship game last year? I can't remember.
Oh, Burroughs, wasn't it? Was it Burroughs?
No, was it Borgia?
No.
Or Borgia. I thought it was the blue.
Borgia.
I thought it was the blue and yellow.
Yeah, it's Borgia. So they may see Borgia again in the championship game as well. So that could make for a very interesting matchup.
And Borgia's had a hell of a year too this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, the way that they've been playing and the way that they're getting after things, you know, but you know, you look at their bracket, you've got Festus Webster, you got Webb and Kearney, then you've got Rockwood Summit, who is really playing well right now against Zumwalt South, who has been there and done that. And guess what? Bill Friedel, put him coaching the basketball team, put him coaching the baseball team. Dude can flat out coach. I mean, without a doubt. Then you got Borgia and Willard. So you look at that Class 5 bracket, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 5 out of the 8 teams that are playing in the quarterfinal from this side of the state.
And
that should tell you right there where the power is.
Yeah, and I mean, we can go back to when we were in school. I mean, back in the mid to late 90s, you know, Crystal wound up winning in 2000, Festus, Herky in 99.
Won it in 95,
yeah, I know
95 and 99 maybe.
99, and Vincent was in the Final Four. I mean, so there was this collective of, I mean, again, baseball in Jefferson County and obviously the St. Louis area. Just wish the Cardinals were going to be playing a little bit better.
They are. They're winning.
Okay. They're winning. I'll give you that, but they're still 3 games under 500.
They're well on their way to 91 wins.
Oh my gosh! Now listen, I know
you really going with that.
As a true Cardinals fan, I am sticking to my guns. I'm riding the horse that got me here.
Which was what? 71 wins. Oh
91
my!
wins.
They haven't put up 91 wins in how many years? Come on now.
This year's the year. They're riding the streak.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I'll say it. I'm saying it. 91 wins. So.
Well,
and there's a reason we are not talking about the Cardinals tonight.
I was going to say I will give them credit. They have gone 8-2 in their last 10. They win the series against Boston. They sweep Baltimore. Now, how does that happen?
Baltimore hadn't been swept in a while.
Right? How does that happen? But yet they can't take care of the White Sox. They struggle with some of the other subpar teams. And I get it. It's baseball, but
Marmol getting tossed.
Right?
Stop. Just stop, please. Stop the insanity.
He get tossed twice this week.
Well, he's getting his money's worth. He's getting his money's worth. He was arguing again with another umpire just the other day.
It's an epidemic in Major League Baseball between Marmol and then the thing that Skip Schumacher had the other day where they threw somebody out and couldn't tell them who they were throwing out.
Oh,
they said pick somebody.
Pick somebody. Yeah, he's like who? Who?
I still cannot believe to this day that Aaron Boone got bounced for a fan yelling.
Yeah.
That was in the second row of the stands above the dugout. That just is mind-boggling.
You know what wouldn't throw umpires or throw managers out? Robot ups. Yeah, robo up.
Well, and guess what? They came out today and said that is not happening for the home plate umpires until at least for 2025. Not happening.
Well, we knew it wasn't going to happen this year. They're not going to implement it in the middle of the year. But you're going to see it next year. Somebody's going to make a call like the other day when Newt Bar struck out on 3 pitches outside the zone. Mm-hmm. He's just
that's all you got to do. That's all. Again, if we could sit here and review for all these other piddly things, something as simple as a strike zone ought to be 5 seconds. Is it? Is it? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay, great. And then move on.
And the thing is nobody's going to do this on a borderline pitch because they don't want to use that type of thing up. But these are on pitches that are 3, 4, 5 inches off the plate that are being called strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, it's been stupid.
And it's the same names over and over. It's the CB Buckners and the Angel Hernandezes. And if Joe West was still doing it, I'm sure he probably would do it as well.
But you know what, though? I could live with Joe West because he will let the coaches chirp as long as they don't drop the F-bomb.
Must have called him the magic word.
You don't swear. If you don't say the magic word, I'll let you chirp all day long while I sit here and sing country western songs behind home plate.
No, he always had his attitude with the players. It's like, come on, man, come on.
He only wanted to deal with grown-ups and middle-aged men. He didn't want to deal with youngsters.
Yeah, we didn't
there's
pay.
Our Cardinal talk. There's our Cardinal talk for the first segment as we rotate out talking about Festus baseball.
Right. Yeah. Well, hey, everything's a good segue, So, but no, I mean, go ahead.
No. What I wanted to say is real quick while we're talking about some local high school stuff. Just an update on Dan Rolfus real quick. Doing fantastic. He did officially step down from coaching USA U17 this summer, earlier this week, which is a smart move. But Dan's doing really well. Right now he is hoping that he will be on the sideline next year. And it's just absolutely amazing that he is doing this right now. He was at the team's banquet the other night, and I saw the pictures, and I mean, you guys know how close I am with Dan. When I saw those pictures, I literally started crying because it's just unbelievable that Dan survived what he did. And, and then today is, I want to say happy anniversary, him and his beautiful wife, Lisa. And, what people don't understand is if his wife wasn't there with him, we don't know if Dan would be here right now.
Wow.
Lisa is a certified nurse, and she jumped in immediately, started doing CPR. And he even said, in the post on Facebook earlier today, happy anniversary to my wife, Lisa, my favorite person in the whole wide world, my best friend, and my savior.
Yeah.
I mean, but no, Dan's doing great. And it's terrific. I wish he could have. I know he wanted to coach so bad this summer, just wasn't going to happen. And we all know that. I mean, but just absolutely terrific. The strides he's made, and to see him and the pictures with his team at their banquet the other night and all that stuff. So I just wanted to get that out there, for a lot of people that may be watching that know the whole story, that haven't seen, or, he's done some interviews. He had a great interview, a couple weeks ago, and it's just really great to see what he's doing, how he's doing it. And once again, and I said this a few weeks ago, and I'm going to say it again, take one thing away from what we do, how we do it. We may bust each other's chops. We may pick on Miller. Jarvis picks on me. I don't care. But if you take one thing, learn CPR, please. Yeah. Just please learn CPR. Because guess what? That is what saved one of my very good friends' life, could save somebody else's life. So take the hour, take the 2 hours and learn it. Yeah. Because you never know when it's going to happen. So I just wanted to say that because I saw the pictures from their banquet the other night. And, I know at Pius, you guys are getting a great dude that's going to be coaching the girls basketball side. That was with Dan on his staff this past year. And it's just, it's great to see. It's a miracle. Yeah. It truly, truly is a miracle that Dan Rolfus is with us right now. So I just wanted to say that. So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just want to get that out there.
It's worth it. The CPR is not a difficult thing to do, but it does take some learning to do it and to make sure you're doing it right. But well worth it. You hope you never have to use it, but when you do, it's well worth it. So, well, what do you say we take a break? Yeah. We come back. Maybe we talk a little Scotty.
Do we want to do Scotty, or do we want to do the absolute 3-ring circus of the end? No, let's do Scotty first. Let's leave the NCAA and the Power 5 decide to play God today. We'll do that in the last segment.
So, all right. Well, let me see if I can figure out how to play the commercials. We'll be right back.
I'm a bird stuck in Larry Bird's attic. And I'm going cuckoo.
What the heck?
What you got, Larry? May the best bird win. Rick. You may be a legend on the court, but you're an amateur up here. Heads up, Larry. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem, like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
On average, heating and cooling account for around 40% of your energy bills. Introducing the efficient Daikin Fit, a revolutionary HVAC system for ducted homes. While other units use considerable energy turning on and off, the Daikin Fit saves energy through consistent comfort control. It's the perfect fit for homes like yours. See the difference. Feel the benefits. Daikin Fit.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Guys, if you've been in to check out the changes at Casey Buck's Grub and Pub, stop by, check us out. We've got awesome wings. We got great pizza. We got a steak sandwich, a steak salad. Holy cow. We got games. We've got lotto. We've got cold beer. We've got a little bit of everything. Stop by, check us out. Check out the weekly specials. Barbecue, pork steaks. Yum. Harold's Market. Thank you, my friends. Check us out. We are waiting for you.
Hey, kids, welcome back.
Read the chat, man.
Hey, okay, so we're going to talk Scotty Scheffler, but this literally popped up about like 10 minutes ago, and I've got to get your guys' reaction because it's statewide. And so this says school districts must ask voters to approve 4-day school weeks. So this just came out like 10, 15 minutes ago. And so it says 3 Jefferson County schools, Grandview, Sunrise, and Crystal, will be required to ask voters if they may continue to operate with 4-day school weeks. Now, Grandview and Crystal and Sunrise, and I'm going to paraphrase so we can move on. They've been basically doing this since 2019, 2020. So it's been multiple years that they have been doing 4-day school weeks. And now you're going to sit here and say the voters have to, by state law, they have to approve the 4-day week that they've been doing for the last, let's just round up and say 4 or 5 school years. How ridiculous is this?
Well, I'll go down 2 roads with this.
Okay.
No, there's been a big push, and this actually started before COVID. And then COVID amplified it quite a bit to, number one, get more teachers, because then you're saying, okay, you got a 4-day work week. So now, and I'm going to be really interested to see how it all plays out, because there's a lot of school districts, not only in Jeffco, but around the state, that are, if not already doing it, entertaining the 4-day school week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a big problem with that. Now, I have a problem when you're already doing it. Now you're going to put it to the voters, and
why would you not just be grandfathered in and say, okay,
right,
move on?
right. Now, I could see why the 4-day, but here's the thing that not a lot of people understand. So if you go 4-day, you know this, Kevin knows this, I know this, Jarvis, who's watching because he's being Jarvis, he's working. You know, you have to have X amount of school days or hours.
Yeah.
So that means you're going to have to start school. If you do a 4-day school week, you have to start early August, and you're not ending until late May, early June.
Most
people
aren't
understanding that.
Most of the public schools have gone to the hours or minutes type of thing, and it's extending, and it's just minutes of instruction. So you're kind of doing your schedule a little bit differently during the day. Maybe you
extend the school day. So instead of getting out at, I'm just making up a number, 3 o'clock or 2:45, you're getting out at 3:15, 3:20. So you're going to make those minutes up over the course of the school year.
If it's going to get more teachers, if it's going to help that piece of it, now obviously we all know the same thing. You got to give the teachers more money, especially first, second, third year teachers. And I know the state legislation is working on that. If they haven't already passed that, you got to give more money. But I think the 4-day week will help, not only in getting new teachers, but retention of existing teachers. Right. I get that.
And that's, so this happened for Grandview, and I'll just kind of talk about me. So this was after I had left Grandview, but they had talked about the idea. And so when you have a lot of rural districts that can't compete with, let's say, Kirkwood money, or can't compete with, so the thought philosophy is that we're a rural town, we're a rural area. Our retention isn't what we would like it to be. So if we take away a day of school, what basically winds up happening is it's almost like a pay raise, because you're not there as much of the time. Now, how that has panned out since leaving and they implemented it, no clue, can't speak on it. But I know at the time that was some of the thought processes of, okay, well, how do all of these, because Missouri has a lot compared to the other state. They have a lot of K-8, and they also have a lot of rural type school districts. And so again, teacher retention is going to be paramount, and then trying to have competitive pay with bigger city type schools. That's the thing. But I saw that, I'm like, okay, I'll throw that out, see what you guys.
Well, I think it's going to make it a whole lot harder for school districts to go to the 4-day week in the future. For instance, Fox School District, I know, has kind of tossed it around to a lot of, probably, I think, some very vocal backlash from some of their parents and community going to the 4-day week. So the school district, really, in order to get that to work, has to have a lot of trust from their community going in. And there are some school districts that just don't have that reputation of trust with their community. So it's going to be very tough for them to try to do that.
And it's saving money. It's saving it. It's going to save. You're not running the buses. You're not running whatever. And again, that's just going back to why those conversations ever started in the first place, which is now what, 2008, when you have the recession hit and all that, you got to save. You're trying to pinch pennies, and you got bills to pay, because guys, we all know this, at the end of the day, school is a business, and you're making money, or you have to make money to keep the business open. And that's unfortunately, we said it, money rules everything. So
Right. And I'll say this, and, my better half, Ann, she's been a teacher for a long time, and, she's in a great situation where she's at right now. But, she has a lot of friends in special school district, there's some districts that are toying with this. And the one thing that is the negative with going to 4-day, and I see it from, with what Ann has dealt with working for special school districts, is you have those kids that need that 5th day. They need that 5th day because it throws them totally off their schedule. And trust me, I know this from when I was back in Ohio, when I was at Brookfield Middle School, my room was literally right across from the SSD classroom. And whenever, and that's kind of how they placed it, because they wanted the football coach, the basketball coach right there. I get it. I've seen it all. I understand what those kids go through. And to throw them off of a schedule, so you go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then all of a sudden now Friday, now you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now that's an extra day for those kids. That it throws them completely. And then for those for special needs kids, it throws their whole schedule off. Well, now the other piece of it too is for parents, now you're looking for an extra day of daycare, you're looking for an extra day of babysitting and those kind of things,
because jobs aren't going to 4-day weeks.
No, not at all. I mean,
Hey, and then you're also, let's face facts, especially in our state, you got a lot of free and reduced lunch. So,
I mean, and I was just saying, it's like Jim was talking about kids' schedules. I'm just talking about environments where that's the most the school day is the most consistent thing that they have, where they know they're going to get their meal, they're going to get their breakfast, they're going to get their lunch. They're going to see the same people each day, and you just don't know if they're getting that at home. And adding another day of that at home, and summer's already tough enough as it is sometimes that you're adding that in during the school year.
Kevin, you just hit a great point right there. For some kids, school is their safe haven. They trust teachers, maybe some of their best friends that they maybe don't see after school. They trust those people more than they trust going home. And it sucks. It totally sucks that you have to say that. But unfortunately, here's the day and age that we're in right now.
Right.
And teachers have become more, one of the things when I coached girls basketball, when I was a head coach back in Ohio, and at Lutheran South, I'm in a great spot. But when I coached girls basketball back in Ohio, somebody said, "How do you like it?" I said, "I love it because, number one, I'm a surrogate father. I'm a guidance counselor. I'm a teacher. I routed off like 5 or 6 things." And they're like, "Yeah, you must really love coaching." Because that's how it is.
So, we've all coached. We all get that same feeling, do those same things all the time, even in the situations that we're in at times. So,
sure.
But I just, like I said, I think it's an interesting concept. I'm surprised they're not grandfathering places in. I wonder what's going to happen if you go to I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but let's say the voters in Crystal City say, "No, we don't want it." And you're allowing people to vote that aren't necessarily sending kids to schools.
Right.
Exactly.
And you're going to put some school districts in some very bad situations because they have contracts for 4-day weeks with teachers, and they have all these things, and now they've got to try to eliminate and redo that and keep that.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Let me ask you guys this. You're both teachers. say you guys have a chance to leave Pius.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have a chance to go to a school that's going 5 days, or you have a chance to go to another school that's 4 days. What would you do? Yeah, knowing
on the day off. How much PD? How much extra PD do we have to do?
What's the internet situation in the
building? So,
no. I mean,
but do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? That's a big thing, right?
It would be something that I would obviously think about. It probably wouldn't be the final decision maker for me. I'd look at some other things that come with it, but it's something that's not hard to overlook at times if that situation were ever to arise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
no doubt. All right, let's talk about Scotty.
Hey, let's talk about somebody else that only works 4 days a week. Golfers.
Oh my goodness, Jim, take it away. Take it away.
So, last Thursday morning, after the 3-ring circus, I dealt with practices and everything on Wednesday. So Thursday morning, my phones, and now Indianapolis is on Eastern time. 6:30, my phone, my watch start going ballistic, and I'm like, what in the absolute heck is going on? And I look, Sky Scheffler detained. What? And then the whole, okay. Now, here's what not a lot of people understand, and I know this from, number one, when I lived back in Ohio, Youngstown, Ohio, hosted an LPGA event, and I was very involved with that. Then moved here, seeing Belle Reve hosting the PGA back in 2018, and all the players have cars that are not only logoed out of their ever-loving minds, but also for the players, they have a P in the window to say that they're a player.
Right.
So, okay, now let's not forget what had happened 35 minutes previous. A man lost his life, and we're not making any jokes about that or anything. We understand that. But you still have to get the players that are showing up for their tee times. Now, Scotty was showing up a little early because his routine is his tee off time was at 10:20, I believe. He starts stretching, loosening up, going to the workout trailer that they have for all the players 3 hours before. And from my understanding on what I've seen, one police officer waved him through because he saw the.
Yeah, it was because it was near the course. The course had its own security who knew the protocols of the P on the windshield and things like that. But then once you got past there, mixed in was the other law enforcement,
the Louisville Police Department,
who had responded to the fatal accident, and it was a completely separate that did not know the protocols of the P on the windshield and trying to get players in and those types of things. So it was a communication error in that.
I look at this. Why is he driving? Why do they not have
a lot of
drivers?
Guys, and I said the same thing, Zach, but I also understand from 2018 when they had the PGA Championship at Belle Reve, a lot of those guys like to drive themselves because they like that wherever they're staying, whether it's 15 minutes, at 20 minutes, they like that solitude of just being by themselves because they know once they hit the course, it's a circus.
Right.
And Zach,
Zach, you also have to think it's not like a team where both teams are going to the same place and they're starting the game at the same time. This is 100 individuals that are all starting 9 minutes apart from each other all morning.
Right.
So you can't really, if you can't bus them in, you can't do those team buses. I think the driving's now that means you got 100 different cars there, or maybe you have a couple of them carpooling together.
Sure. Right.
But yeah, it's an unfortunate situation that happened that wasn't handled well on several different ends.
Well, here's the doubt. And did you hear the news today? So the news that came out today was that Louisville Metro Police Department had to take "quote unquote" corrective action against the police officer who arrested Scheffler because he didn't follow.
He didn't have his body. He didn't have his body
cam video recorder during the incident.
Yeah. And they're not saying anything was wrong with the arrest or the detainment. They were just saying that he should have had his body cam on.
Now, here's what I'm going to say. And I'm not saying that police are bad or anything like that. That's not it. But you're brought in to help with one situation. Shouldn't somebody have said, hey, listen, we still have people that need to get here, turn left. If they've got a P on their windshield, we're flagging them through and getting them in. Okay? That's where I go with this whole thing. Now, yes, today they're still going to go forward with the charges. Okay.
He's still in the article. He's still going to plead not guilty. He's not going to.
There's no deal. There is no deal. There in the story and I read it on USA Today before we came on. We're not settling. You're going to drop it, or we're going to go to court.
Right.
And guess what?
The issue is one of them is felony. I mean, there's a couple that are misdemeanors, but there's one that's a felony.
It's because they're saying that the officer jumped on top of the hood to stop him. There's not one video.
Yeah, they had the video out today of him driving past the tour bus, but you didn't see that anywhere in a video, and you don't have it because he doesn't have his body cam video on.
And even the reporter from ESPN, and when I was in godforsaken Indianapolis driving down to Bloomington, they interviewed him, and he was a car behind Scheffler. And he videotaped everything. And you don't see that. You don't. And then Scheffler knew him, and the name of the reporter escapes me right now. But he just looked at him. He looked at the reporter. You could see the video. He says, "Please help me." Come on, people. Then I heard this from a sports talk show host up here in St. Louis. I'm not even going to say his name because I think he's an idiot. But he's like, if it was Tiger, he would have been shot on sight. Are you kidding me right now? Are you real? If it was
Tiger, he would have been like, "Oh, that's Tiger Woods. Come on through." That's what that would have been.
Yeah, I mean,
move over, Tiger. I'll drive you in.
Right, right.
You came down to it.
Stupid.
That's why they have in some instances. In all these instances, you have who's the lead on site, who's working with the others, because it's not like it's just a fender bender accident that they have to get cleared.
Right.
That's it. They've got it. They have to investigate. They have to deal with the fatality and the fatal accident and things like that. But they just needed someone in the front to kind of be able to liaison between both groups. Maybe this would have been headed off at the pass, and now you've got both police and a professional athlete who are in the limelight for neither one of the reasons that they want to be in a limelight. So in a spotlight, I should say. So
and you talk about, and I don't know if you guys have seen the Netflix, the full swing series, but man, you talk about a guy that you can root for, and that's what Scotty is. He's just a guy that you can root for. And you talk about just an odd situation, and hopefully all of that gets situated and settled, or maybe dismissed or thrown out. But yeah, I don't. But the thing that was kind of comical, well, it's a lot comical. He gets his mugshot, and before the day is out, there are people on the golf course that have his photo of his mugshot out on the course. They're selling It's almost like the Catholics versus convicts.
There's a whole thing where they're trying to get Scotty to wear the Tennessee orange outfit on a day.
Him and Ricky Fowler, right?
Him and Ricky Fowler wear the orange together.
I would love that, actually. But no. Zach, you just brought up a very good point about the whole thing with Full Swing. Scotty Scheffler is one of the most down-to-earth guys that you want to root for.
Mm-hmm.
Remember at the Masters 6 weeks ago, his wife was 2 weeks out of being pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
He flat out said, my wife goes into labor, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gone. It's family, Christ, golf.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think he would do something against the law to blow that whole thing? No, not at all. And I've watched both seasons of Full Swing.
Mm-hmm.
I love Scotty Scheffler. I think Scheffler is one of the most stand-up guys on the PGA Tour, other than Rory. Now, there's a lot of rumors circulating about Rory right now. Divorce, Amanda Bolianis, and there it is. But, Full Swing is a really, if anybody has not seen it yet, go to Netflix and watch Full Swing. Watch both years. Because you see a lot about Ricky Fowler, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Tony Finau, who I think is just the dude on the tour, with how he handles family and traveling. I mean, there's not a week during the summer that his family is not with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's so cool.
Yep.
And, I was so happy that Xander Schauffele did win, because I like Schauffele. Mm-hmm. I think he's a great dude. He won the Olympics a couple years back.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a great guy. And, it was something that a lot of people held over his head for the last bunch of years, that he couldn't close his Sunday out. He did. And even though, the Shambo, I hate that he's with Liv. I hate the fact.
Why?
I just don't like Liv.
Why?
Don't.
Hey, PGA, pay your guys more money. I don't know what to tell you. It's capitalism, baby.
If you win, you get paid. But it's not like that on the Live. You just get paid. It's like, okay, full
Thank you,
swing.
Kevin. Thank you, Kevin.
Full Swing has allowed this to not get blown up in a way that it probably would have. If he wasn't on there and he wasn't, now I'm not saying portrayed, because he actually is that way. If Full Swing doesn't show Scotty what Scotty is really like, he probably comes out looking like a bad guy in this whole situation.
Absolutely.
But
the one thing that I'll say is, in all the interview, like the Masters, the par 3 tournament,
Mm-hmm.
I love watching Wednesday at the Masters, the par 3 tournament.
Right.
And they interviewed him after he hit his first shot, and they walked down, and Marty Smith flat out asked him, so really, if your phone or your pager goes off, are you leaving? He goes, there is no doubt. I'm walking off whether I have a 5-stroke lead or I'm 10 strokes down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking off. I'm going to be with my wife. Enough said, done, out. Scotty Scheffler is the man. Let's go to break, Kevin.
Yep. Let's do that. We come back. Some interesting news with NCAA. Maybe they finally seen the light and going to make somewhat of a good decision. I don't know.
That means Ohio State's going to get a lot more money.
Are they going to figure out some way to screw this up as well? We'll be right back.
I'm a bird stuck in Larry Bird's attic. And I'm going cuckoo.
What the heck?
What you got, Larry? May the best bird win. Rick. You may be a legend on the court, but you're an amateur up here. Heads up, Larry. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem, like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
On average, heating and cooling account for around 40% of your energy bills. Introducing the efficient Daikin Fit, a revolutionary HVAC system for ducted homes. While other units use considerable energy turning on and off, the Daikin Fit saves energy through consistent comfort control. It's the perfect fit for homes like yours. See the difference. Feel the benefits. Daikin Fit.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Guys, if you've been in to check out the changes at Casey Buck's Grub and Pub, stop by, check us out. We've got awesome wings. We got great pizza. We got a steak sandwich, a steak salad. Holy cow. We got games. We've got lotto. We've got cold beer. We've got a little bit of everything. Stop by, check us out. Check out the weekly specials. Barbecue, pork steaks. Yum. Harold's Market. Thank you, my friends. Check us out. We are waiting for you.
Well, all right. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 191 of the Coach's Box. And guys, okay, listen, this is your time. I know we said we can talk NCAA. You guys don't want to do soccer? You don't want to talk, or do we want to save that? We want to save that as like the dessert for the end.
We can save some for dessert. I also want to kind of save it to maybe torture Chris a little bit. Maybe torture Jarvis.
Part of the reason Part of the reason those two are not here tonight is because we said we were going to talk about City.
And by that's you two. That's you two.
Yeah, exactly.
We got some City. We got some softball super regional stuff to talk. We got
by the way, did you see Oklahoma? They won game 1 in their super tonight.
Yeah, nobody saw that coming, did they?
Well, they got the 2-2 in the second inning.
Yeah, let's get to that in a little bit later. Let's get through the NCAA stuff first.
All right, so go ahead, Jim. You posted this for us to talking a little bit about NCAA, some news that came out. What exactly came out?
The NCAA and the Power 5 have decided that the schools can now pay the athletes.
I mean, that's kind of what we've been saying. If you're already giving them football, basketball, you're already giving them a full ride. And hey, I don't know if you've seen their locker rooms and their athletic centers and all. I mean, they are taken care of. I don't want to hear anybody say anything about, well, they need per diems or they need to. No. You just go walk into their facility. But if that's still not good enough, at least they're now going to say, here's some money. Here's some cash, put it in your wallet, spend it on shoes, spend it on clothes, more than what we already give you, and try to stay out of trouble. Good idea, bad idea. What do y'all think?
Can I say this? I'm probably going to get ripped to shreds, and I don't care. You go and go ahead, Kevin. I'm going to say you go to Ohio State. You're paying $30,000 a year. So $30,000 over 4 years is $120,000 that you're not paying for. Then you add another $5,000 in books. You're not paying for. Then you add the meal plan, all that stuff, probably another $5,000. You're not paying for. NIL, transfer portal, is destroying collegiate athletics as we know it.
I think I read somewhere in that article that they didn't get into the specifics of it, but that there are aspects of this agreement that will allow them to rein in some of the collective in the NIL as it moves forward. I don't know what that means because I didn't get into specifics, but I thought I read that in there that it will give schools a little bit better handle on kind of what athletes are getting. What the athletes are also going to find out at some point is this is a massive taxable income that, depending on how much it is, it's going to enter them into a tax bracket where they're very quickly going to find out, what do you mean Uncle Sam keeps 40% of my crap?
Right.
Who is this FICA and where are they taking my money?
But what people, I mean, and once again, I'll go to SLU. I like Josh Schertz. I think he is a terrific coach. But the only reason he got hired because the SLU folks, Chris May and the others, Dr. Shavitz and his son, who are pulling the purse strings, knew that at least 2, if not 4, of the Indiana State kids were coming. They got 2. Texas poached the other 2, and then the 5th went someplace else. Listen, that's not collegiate athletics. I'm sorry. It's not what the 3 of us grew up on. It's not. I mean,
it's not in the essence. It's not in the essence of college athletics, and we've talked about it. One of the main reasons that people have struggled to follow college basketball, especially men's college basketball, is because you don't recognize people and names. You can't associate, like Chris. Chris can't hate these UConn teams now because he can't associate them with, as he says, that chubby point guard anymore because they're only around for Khalid Al-Amin or something like that.
Yeah,
you can't because he was there for 4 years. You can't associate those kids with the school anymore.
The shooters, Duke can get the ball to the shooters. I don't get.
But
Duke, let's go.
But the real issue is I don't have an issue with that necessarily of athletes getting paid a certain amount, especially at the Power Fives, because those athletic departments bring in a certain amount of money on the backs of those kids. I get that. I also understand that there are costs that come along with being a student and that they're getting those taken care of as well. My main issue with the NCAA has and always been the transfer portal and the absolute Wild West nature that has become of the transfer portal. And if you don't think coaches are cheating and getting to kids before they're on the portal,
right?
It is. That's what needs to be fixed. This is a small issue. They basically put rims on a Pinto and called it a race car. It's not. So go ahead.
Here's what I'm going to say. You can do a lot of things to make the playing field even. I get it. I understand. But now we're talking NCAA and the Power Five. What in the absolute hell are the group of five going to do? Or the mid-majors going to do? Or the FCS going to do? Because guess what? And I say the FCS because I'm invested in that. I work the FCS championship every year. I see South Dakota State. I see Montana State. Those kids, now you're going to see a funnel from the group of five and the FCS try to make it up to the Power Five. And guess what? They're going to put their names in the portal. Where are they going to go? Those kids have no recourse. Once they put their name in, they're toast.
I think some of those kids are going to start to learn that going into the portal doesn't mean you're going to find a spot. I think that's going to be learned here very soon. I think people are going to figure that out. There's still, even in those Power Five schools, you still have an 85 scholarship limit and you have roster limits. So they're not going to they can't take all of them. So they can't take all of them. If they take some in, they got to release some other out there going somewhere. So I still think there's going to be talent in places. I think you're going to find in some kids' instances that's still the main goal. My main goal is to make money, but I really want to get to the NFL. Am I better served playing at a mid-major and playing a lot, or am I going to be sitting fourth string running back at Alabama and getting maybe 1 to 2 carries a year? Or can I go to, I would even say it, I'm just saying Missouri State in the American or the Conference USA.
Well, don't even get me started on that move, because I think that was the most idiotic thing that Kyle Motes, and here's the deal with that. In all honesty, they had a donor that basically said, you get us out of the valley, you put us in another conference, we'll give you $4 million a year. Missouri State is going to get their brains bashed in
in
the Conference USA. And I would say 85% of the sports that they will participate in.
Oh, well, and people said the same thing, and I'll say Lindenwood's in that same boat going to the Ohio Valley Conference. But if they do this correctly and Missouri State has a higher profile than, say, Lindenwood would be as a footprint, I think they could be competitive if they handle the situation correctly moving forward.
But Lindenwood didn't handle it correctly because they whacked 9 sports, including your men's lacrosse team that has been in the D2 national championships 3 of the last 6 years, if I'm not mistaken.
And that's what I'm saying. I think I'm not talking Lindenwood here. I'm talking more Missouri State. If they handle this correctly,
but you understand what I'm saying.
They're going to get hammered at first, but I think within 6, 7, 10 years, I think that they could be more competitive than what they are now.
That could wind up being a pipeline for Mizzou. Think about it. You could get some 3-star. No, seriously, you get some 3-star guys saying, "Hey, listen, go to Missouri State for a couple of years, and then get in the portal, go through your growing pains, and then keep kids in state, and then hey, we'll bring you
guys.
Or I will even say, give me 1 second here, Jim. Or I will say this: a lot of states have both a state university and then they have state whatever. So you've got Kansas and K-State. A little bit of not the best example. Colorado and Colorado State. You know, those types of things. There's no reason why we couldn't have a second major or mid-major, at least, university playing football at a higher level in Missouri. We have the talent in the state to do it if they can lock that up.
I get that. But when Missouri State is in the bottom half of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, year in and year out, what are you doing? You're going to go to the Conference USA where you're going to play Tulsa. Come on,
listen,
guys.
This isn't it's still they're not going to the Big 12. They're going to Conference USA. They can figure this out.
But what you're saying
is if Mizzou can be in the bottom half of the Big 12 and figure it out somewhat in the SEC, I think Missouri State's going to be fine.
But is Mizzou really, other than football and softball, have they really figured it out?
Wrestling?
But they're not in the Big 12.
Gymnastics.
But it can't be any worse. Ohio State's going to be 6-6 in the new Big 12 anyway.
You see, there it is. There it is.
All those West Coast trips is going to screw them up. So
I was waiting all day.
No, I thought you were just going to say they're actually going to maybe play other real talented teams besides just Michigan. I mean, yeah.
No more feasting on the. No more feasting on.
Watching us bass fishing.
No more feasting on the Northwesterns, Michigan States, and Indianas of the world. Oh, and Rutgers.
And Rutgers. Yep.
What are you talking about? I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Kevin, they look at their schedule every year and like, oh, we have one game. All you got to do is win one game all year, and they haven't been able to do that.
Are you real? I thought we were friends. And you're going to go there for the
I'm just saying, you talk about a cupcake schedule here.
Even Michigan's coach is like, listen, I've had enough of kicking the crap out of Ohio State. I'm going to go to the NFL.
It's not a challenge anymore.
It's not a challenge. I'm going to go beat those poisonous nuts and then go to the NFL. That's what I'm going to do.
Good time for us to leave this thing right now. Good God.
Hey, we still got some other stuff.
Hey, we still got to talk city soccer. So
yes, let's go.
All right.
You two have at it.
So city soccer is in this dichotomy of this time where they cannot seem to do anything other than tie.
Well, that's soccer.
It's not soccer.
Shut up, Zach.
They're in a playoff spot more than what I could say the Blues were in at any point this year.
I'm going to say this. Zach, I'm buying you a ticket.
That's fine.
Come to a city. No, to come to a city game with me, and you will change your mind.
Okay,
yes.
That's all I'm saying.
If Martucci changed his mind, I'll give it a shot.
Yes, you get into that environment. That's a tremendous environment. But sitting at 3-3-7 did not have a good result last week.
No.
Did not play well. I don't think they played well at all.
Terrible.
They're missing a piece up top that can, as an additional striker to play along with Klaus, because the attacking system just doesn't play well into Klaus being a lone striker.
And Parker hasn't played the last couple matches.
Parker has been. It was Nielsen is the one. He finally got back to match fitness.
That's right. Yeah.
Leuven played a little bit in the last one, so getting him back after being out. Leuven was talk about people going through all kinds of crap.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
His wife is diagnosed with a brain tumor, and so he's been dealing with that. So that's why he was taking time away from the team. He was able to get back in after his wife's gotten some treatment and things like that. He's able to get back into the squad, and He played 45 minutes, I think, last Saturday, and I think he'll play a full game this coming Saturday. So that'll be good to see. He'll certainly help the midfield. We haven't seen that midfield in its entirety of the people that were intended to play in it, and that's going to be a big key moving forward. So, your thoughts on that, Zach?
I was going to say, so where are they sitting at, kind of in the standings? Are they getting close to wrapping up the regular season?
No, it's a 32 game regular season, 32 or 36 game regular season, and right now they're sitting at game number 13.
Okay,
so they play about one or two a game. They're going to take a break here, I think, in the middle of the year. I think they take a couple of week break because I think they have some for the Copa America tournament because all those guys go out and play international.
Copa!
Okay, so this is okay. I'm going to say this, and you're going to have to explain this to me. Okay, watching soccer, or at least all of the different leagues, is like watching basketball, and they're trying to go for the Denslow Cup. There's like 15,000 different leagues, and you got this league and that league, and now these players have to play here and they have to play there. And okay, we know what the best baseball league is, best basketball, best football. Why? What is it for soccer? And why?
The best league is the Premier League in England.
Okay,
but each in Europe, each of those countries have their top level league, the Premier League, the Bundesliga in Germany, Serie A in Italy, those types of things.
Yeah,
and then they have leagues that go down below it, all the way down to like 4th and 5th level leagues.
You know what, Zach? You like Netflix? Watch Welcome to Wrexham.
Yes. And it involves Americans, so you'll be okay with this.
Wrexham, darn near killed him.
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake.
Where Ryan Reynolds and who else?
I can't remember. The guy from the
Philadelphia.
Yeah. They bought part of a.
They owned a team now.
Yeah, they own it now. They originally got in as a partial owner. They've bought the whole thing, and their goal. The difference that Chris has talked about before as a thing that should be brought to America, which would help, is promotion relegation.
Yes.
If you finish in the top 3 of your league, you get promoted to the league above you. If you finish in the bottom 3, you have to drop down. So if you get into the tanking, you would drop.
Okay, then explain this to me. Is it because globally, not here in America, but is it because it's globally soccer's the best sport? Why there's so many leagues? Because so many countries
leagues and tournaments
without
and things like that. Because the added layer on top of this that you don't really have in any other sport is the level is international. The top place to play that people want to play while they make their money at their club teams, their local teams. The prestige of playing and wearing the badge of your national team is a very big pull for a lot of players. And so they leave their club teams for certain periods of times. And a lot of those leagues take FIFA breaks where there's FIFA windows where FIFA says, hey, you can play friendlies during this time and this time and this time. And you've got a tournament, like you could play a Copa America is basically all the South American and some of the North American teams come together to play international teams. The countries play a tournament. Those leagues will stop because all of those players will go to their national teams.
Well, the other one is the leagues over in Europe. I mean, you take, like Kevin said, you take the Premier, you take all of those, and they bring all their champions into one tournament. And if you look at during that whole stretch, Fox 2 during the day on like a Wednesday or Thursday from 2 to 4, they show those games. And it's
a massive following here in the U.S.
Oh my gosh!
The Premier League's best TV ratings are in America.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll say this, and this is where I liked soccer, but when I really, really fell in love with soccer was during COVID. Europe still played. So the Premier League still played. So Saturday morning, 6 a.m. Now, 9 times out of 10, I was still recuperating from sitting in my office until 3 in the morning, having crowd and all that. But I would get up. I mean, I literally would watch the 6 a.m. game, whether it was Liverpool or Man U or Manchester City or Chelsea. And then they would have a second game. And then Sunday morning, same thing. It was, wash, rinse, repeat. And, that's where I fell in love with the Premier League. And I still watch it right now. I mean, it's so much fun to see that level of soccer.
In true
City
soccer
is close.
True soccer fans have a kind of a favorite league that they like. The MLS is not in those top tiers of leagues. It's not even close. It's a fun league because it's a competitive league. It's offensive based league. So I like watching it. I also like watching it because I have a team that I can associate with that, I kind of call my own, like you do with any other sport. I like watching the Serie A, which is the Italian top league.
Yes.
It's a great place for Americans to go play because the style in the Serie A is very similar to an American style of just getting up and down the field as much as possible. So I love watching AC Milan play and Juventus play and those types of teams, just because it's a style that I like to watch.
So outside
what are you saying, right, Zach? You have no idea what he's talking about.
No, I don't. So my question is, outside of FIFA, you're talking about this league in England or this league in Italy or whatever other countries. Do they ever, outside of the Olympics or FIFA World Cup, are they playing each other in different, like the best in England is playing the best in Italy?
Yes, they have what they call the UEFA Cup, which is you can qualify. There's like 3 or 4 from each of those leagues will play, and it's a tournament. But the tournaments, it's kind of like those in-season tournaments that the NBA keeps screwing up. They got it from soccer. So they will say like, hey, you have your pool play games and you're going to play 2 this month, 2 next month, and 2 the following month. And then so your tournament is not like a straight month long. It lasts the whole league. If you get eliminated, then you have those windows in which you were supposed to have games. You no longer have games. So you have a break and they do training. But that's why all those really, really the best teams, the Bayern Munichs, the Barcelonas, those type, they have the deeper benches and they're able to rotate their teams enough to do those to continue to play and be successful while still playing your regular league games in there. So it's
all right.
Very good. And you got to connect the dots and you got to do the spider web. Wait, no. I hear rubber band. All of that. I just hear rubber bands. So maybe
they don't use rubber bands. This is all computer stuff, man. They don't go to maps and rubber bands.
No. I tell you what,
all right. We got our soccer out of the way. Super Regionals, Kevin, you're going to Como.
Yes,
on Saturday and hopefully not Sunday.
Hopefully not Sunday. We were contemplating, but we got whole session tickets. But we've got some things going on. We can't make it to Columbia tomorrow. So we're hoping that we can win. Mizzou can win tomorrow and then beat Duke tomorrow. We'll go watch them beat Duke on Saturday, and then won't need the if necessary game on Sunday. We'll come back home and get ready for them to watch him play in the Women's College World Series the following weekend.
If you ever say if necessary game again, I may come through the screen and choke you.
Well,
because I had to deal with that this week.
Well, I will say this Mizzou team,
is really good.
They struggled offensively. But they watched a pitcher basically just say, "Get on my back, and I'm going to carry you through the regional."
Oh, she's terrific.
Lauren Krings, a senior pitcher out of the Colorado area, a 4-year player at Mizzou. They have 5 seniors on this Mizzou team. All 4 of the 5 have been on the team all 4 years.
Nice. Now, I was going to ask you, because I'm sure you probably know, how many in-state or even maybe local
They have
around the area. Girls
having one of Larissa Anderson's main goals when she came in from Hofstra about 7 years ago was to lock down the borders. The previous coach at Mizzou, Aaron Earlywine, didn't really feel it necessary. He went to Texas, he went to California, he went to Florida, and that's where he wanted to get his players from. He didn't see the value in keeping players from Missouri. Larissa Anderson,
but he did. But
he did if they needed it.
Exactly.
Yeah, he got the best ones. If there were one or two best ones, but Larissa's like, I'll take the 5 best players out of Missouri, and she has one out of players out of the Northeast. She gets players out of New York. She gets players out of Colorado. She's from New York. She cut her.
Yeah, she's not getting it out of the hotbeds.
Yeah,
she's getting kids.
She's getting kids from Lake George, New York, to come to Columbia, Missouri.
Yeah,
wow.
And they're and Long Island, New York, to come to Columbia, Missouri, and they're winning and they're good. They weren't great offensively, but they were clutch when they needed to be this past week.
Well, Omaha came in, and you know what? I'll give Omaha all the credit in the world. The way they approached that first game, wow. I mean, Omaha had
the one thing in softball that makes you the equalizer. They had elite pitching.
Yep.
And they were a mid-major team they were 4-48 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And they bring this kid in. She's a senior, but she is elite. And she is elite in their league, and even better. I still don't know how they lost any games in that Horizon League.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
but she was undefeated, and that pitcher was undefeated in the Horizon League.
So what's the I tuned in, I guess it might have been a week back or something like that, and a girl had pitched, and she only went maybe 2/3 of an inning, and it was like, nope, we're going to pull her. And then they wind up putting in, and they try to talk about how, hey, we've got one stud, but then we've got, I guess, maybe some relief type. So how does that work compared differently to, say, baseball?
Well,
Mizzou,
Larissa Anderson handles her pitching staff very differently than other softball coaches who will ride 1 or 2 horses to go full games. Larissa Anderson's husband, Patrick Anderson, is the manager for the Peoria Redbirds, Cardinals, in the Cardinals organization.
Right.
So she learned how to handle a pitching staff from him. So she has a stud pitcher, a number 1, if you will. And then she has Sierra Harrison is a very good number 2 pitcher, but then she's got a freshman who can start games, and she's also in the relief, and Marissa McCann, who been a really good freshman. And then she's got Taylor Pinnell, a left-hander that wants to be a closer and only throws an inning or 2 here and there to close out games. I think has broken the NCAA record for saves in a season with 14 saves.
Now, let me say this, and Kevin knows this. A left-handed pitcher in softball, number 1, rare. Number 2, nobody has seen a lefty.
Really?
You have no idea what that girl is going to throw you because the angles are different. If you've got a right-hander, you're going to get you'll kind of be able to pick up a few things. A left-hander that you don't see very often, you're screwed. You're out and you're done.
It's actually, in many instances, that whole lefty-righty matchup thing is much more difficult in softball. Because if let's say you're a left-handed hitter looking at a right-handed pitcher, that ball is hidden by the body almost the whole time while she's doing the windmill coming through. Well, if you're a righty, you can see that ball the whole time. So they throw these insanely change-ups that are 22-mile or 15-mile-per-hour differences between the fastball.
I saw online, I don't know, couldn't tell you the girl's name or the woman's name, from Tennessee that clocked in at 75 miles an hour.
I can't remember what it is. But tall, very tall pitcher. While the pitching mound's at 43, she's actually throwing the ball from about 38 or 37 feet.
I mean, you got to remember, you had Kat Osterman years back. that could top out Kevin 70-71.
Yeah.
And
that was and she was at the very beginning of the 40. I can't remember when they went from 40 feet to 43. They used to throw from 40 feet at college, which means you had those tall kids, tall left-handed pitcher throwing from probably 33 feet at 70 miles an hour. So which I think equivalents to about 104.
92. I remember Jenny Finch from Arizona, who a lot of people still to this day say she's one of the all-time best pitchers in collegiate fast pitch softball. So a couple MLB guys were like,
Pujols was one of them.
There's a great video of her striking out Pujols on a rise ball.
Yes.
They don't see
you
balls.
Remember the movie Major League? Bring that to me. Well, there were some guys that were like, "Bring that to me." Oh no, she made them. Pujols was one of them. She made them look absolutely silly.
And I know Bonds was supposed to. Yeah, Bonds was supposed to.
Fastballs. She wasn't throwing rise. She wasn't throwing off speed. She wasn't throwing curves. She was throwing straight freaking gas. And it was stupid. So, by the way, Kevin, Oklahoma won.
UCLA's up 1-0 in about the fourth inning, I think.
They're up 2-0 now in the top of the fourth.
There you go.
Yeah.
As I have it here in my hotel room.
So Oklahoma, are they now again, we were kind of talking off air about they had the pitcher from last year transfer back home to the state of Nebraska. And I think they had lost.
Patty Gasso is one of the absolute best softball coaches. I'll put her against who was the coach down in Arizona? Mike Candrea.
I'll put her up against it. It's a different era, but Mike Candrea is one of the top. But the SEC is going to get insanely stronger next year with both Patty Gasso and Mike White at Texas joining it.
I know.
The SEC will literally be the most difficult conference in SEC softball, the most difficult conference in any sport in the country in college next year, because you're adding number 1 and number 2 to a conference who has 7 of the 16.
Can I tell you guys something?
The SEC got all 13 teams into the NCAA tournament, and then you're adding the number 1 and number 2 team to it.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
So Patty Gasso, head coach of Oklahoma, her husband is the head coach at Mid-America Christian, a school in my conference. How about that stupidity, ladies and gentlemen?
and they have a son who is an assistant coach at the University of Utah, who is he's the hitting coach, and it will be in line to be a head coach at some point himself.
Without a doubt.
Yes. And they have another son who I think is on Patty's staff at Oklahoma.
I think he is. I think he's like either the first base coach or
he's the fourth assistant right now. I think he was a volunteer, but when they added the fourth assistant this past year, I think he got that job.
Right.
So
we didn't kind of shift in gears here. We got a few minutes left. So Jim, you were
we're 10 minutes over. What are we talking about?
Well, I wanted to get your opinion on Caitlin Clark and Indiana, and so I watched them, and it must have been game 2 because they were playing Las Vegas. I think it was Las because they had won last year. And the first quarter, as I'm watching, I'm like, this is really fun basketball. Like, this is great. And then in the second quarter, they decided, hey, you know what? We're going to do NBA style, go ISO, and bogged everything down. Now, Indiana hasn't won yet. People are kind of talking like, hey, when are they going to get their act together?
They want to fire their coach. They want to bring the Iowa coach in, right? Blah, blah, blah.
So have you guys had a chance to watch any of the WNBA games or Clark? when I watched that first quarter, I'm like, this is fun. Like this is better than any NBA. Like I try to sit down and watch. Ethan's like, hey, I want to watch Timberwolves. I want to watch Ant play.
By the way, the Pacers went in tonight. I have no idea. Anyway, I'm watching
and I watch it. And I'm just like, this is just it. Just no, it's not. It's just it's literally one guy on one side of the floor, 4 guys on the other. Yeah. It's no team game. I can't do it. But that first quarter of the WNBA that I watched, I'm like, this is great. This was some good. Maybe it might be sustainable after all. But then again, it kind of went. Brr. But have you guys had a chance to watch any?
I have not.
Me neither. I've been a lot really busy. I just haven't been able to get into it.
Well, and that's been me. I mean, like I said, I've lived more in a hotel room than
2 words, minibar.
Yeah, exactly. Hello.
on the NCAA's dime.
On the
Mish's dime.
Mish's dime.
Mish's dime.
Here's what I'll say about Caitlin Clark. And once again, you guys know me as the women's basketball shell of the group, so to say. I like Caitlin Clark. I like what she's brought. And I also like Angel Reese. And I like the other player. But here's the thing. There's going to be a learning curve.
Right.
There's going to be a learning curve. And you got to give them a little bit of an opportunity. As much as I'm not a Charles Barkley fan, which, by the way, Charles Barkley has just gone off the rails. Yes, I said it. There it is. Barkley has gone off the rails over the last 5 days about a lot of stuff. One of them was how everybody's bashing Caitlin Clark, and she's not performing. She's not. Give her a little bit of time. Now, the only thing I wish about Caitlin Clark is get rid of the attitude. Take a step back and be a player that's going to learn instead of acting like you did at Iowa, which I absolutely hated. And if everybody watched that semifinal that saw her dad basically telling her to shut the F up, I think the WNBA is going to be good. I think the way that women's basketball is being promoted right now on the collegiate level and on the WNBA, I think it's going to be good. But I agree with you, Zach. You got to open it. You got to open it up. Turn the gas pedal and go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's just the way fans want it nowadays. Pros on down to high school. I mean, even the players in high school. Hey, they don't want to run sets. They just kind of want to do, whether it's street ball or whether it's just, hey, let's just go 10 seconds or less. Let's jack up a 3 or go attack the basket. Okay, well, you better be good at it. So,
nope, I get it.
All right, Kevin.
You just got to hope they're bad at it too.
Right.
So.
Well, we'd like to thank Chris and Jason for not joining us tonight because we had a chance to talk about things that we don't normally get a chance to talk about.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Hey, you might end up being a soccer dad this fall. So
maybe.
No,
me?
Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, take us home, brother.
All right. Well, appreciate everybody being here. We'll see you next week. Maybe. I don't know. It depends on what Chris wants to do. So
he may fire us all.
Yeah,
no.
I know his password now. Have a good evening, everybody.
See you guys.
This episode of the Coach's Box Call It Like We See It podcast is brought to you by Off the Rails Media. Life's more fun when you're off the rails.